Hello everyone. So we've got just a little bit left to do to finish this up. So we gotta finish being able to actually kill our enemy AI, get the final treasure piece, and then be able to exit. That will be all the gameplay mechanics side of things, and then we'll go through and add in some more props. So we'll go back into Blender and model some more stuff, and we'll do how to get like a second story so you can have a multi-story dungeon, and we'll do some other stuff in that. So getting close. Alright, so what we need to do now is let's actually create a HUD widget so we can see our character's health. So in my main folder, I'm going to right click and create a new folder. I'm gonna succumb to paranoia. It's recording. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna rename this HUD or widgets or whatever, just whatever lets you know that it's going to be our widget display. So I'm going to right click under user interface. I'm going to create a widget blueprint. Just user widget right here at the top. This will be the player HUD underscore UI or underscore W, whatever you like. I like UI for user interface. Double click and open it up. Drop it right here. And then it'll be just a blank screen. So what we need to do is we need to find a canvas panel. We're going to drop that right here. The canvas panel is basically where Bob Ross would paint, essentially. This is where we'll put everything. But first thing we need to do is we're going to right click, and I'm going to wrap that with a scale box and wrap it with a size box. So what this does is if you have, like if this game gets downloaded and put on someone's monitor that's not running at the 16:9 ratio, it will help it, it'll apply the scale to it. So we're going to click the size box and do a width and height override. Mine is 1920, that's a 13. 1920 by 1080. You can do whichever ratio you like, as long as that green box fills it up, you'll be good. So that way, no matter what device it gets put on, it'll scale appropriately. So what we need now is an actual way of displaying our health bar. So I'm going to grab a progress bar, drag it out. I think anchoring it in the top left is good. So we're going to position it. I'm going to position it 50 on the X and 30 on the Y. Put it wherever you like. Just if you move it into the different corners of the screen, you can change its anchor with this little thing right here. That will reposition that little toolbar that associates its connection to a corner. So let's see, size on the X, I'm going to say 400. Size Y, 50. Nah, 25. That looks alright. So the size X, as you've gathered, is the left and right size, and the Y is the up and down. Now for the style of the bar, this is where you can pick a background image, fill image, etc. I'm just going to draw it as a rounded box, because I like the way the rounded boxes look. I'm going to do that for both the background image and the fill image. That way both of them get this nice rounded look. And then for the actually fill color, under appearance, this is what will actually change the color on the inside of the bar. Unless you're using images, then it'll just override this, but I'm going to click everything but what I'm trying to get. So I'm going to drop these all down, but increase the red. Since it's health bar, it'll be red. That seems to be customary now. Then we can just kind of see how it's going to look full. That looks good. That looks decent. What we can do now is we can drop an image right here. And what this image is going to be, it's going to be like a how do you describe it? Like a health bar panel type thing. Like, you know how you play games and they got the health bar sat into a little border or little panel thing that has a design to it. That's what this is essentially going to be. But in order to get this to go behind everything, I'm going to set the Z order to -1. And what the Z order is basically if you set this, why am I pointing at the screen? If you set the canvas panel down flat on your desk, when you add things to it, it has a different Z order based on its position in a verticality. So the first thing you put can be like on the very surface. Z order 0 just sits there. If you want something above it, you set it to Z order 1, and it basically stacks outward from there. So when I set this at Z order -1, it goes behind, but if I set this at Z order 0, it's above it, because they're technically even, and then the other one comes over. But if I set it at 1, then it'll be completely over top of anything. So I'm just going to set this at -1 to put it behind it. I hope I explained that well. And then we'll drop this over here just to kind of design our little widget a little nicer. I am going to make this a rounded box also. For this one, it's under brush and the draw as rounded box. And maybe put this like right here. Crap. Widget design is my weak point. I know how to make it work, but to make it look nice, not too good at that part. So let's just make it like a brown color. Mad respect to all the widget and UI designers out there. That stuff is hard. But what we're going to put now is we're going to put a text right about here. And what this is going to be in the details panel on the right, we're going to set this to be our gold. And I'll just leave it called gold, and it'll be is a variable. This will be the number that says how much gold we have. So to start off with, we'll have $0. Relatable. So we'll go into the font, change it to about 15, not 15, that'd be too small, 20 on the size. That looks about decent. Maybe move it right a little bit, and then just kind of position it where you want. If you want the justification different, you can do that. I'm going to have mine aligned left so that it fills out this way. If you have it on the right, you can align it to the right, and then it'll fill this way. But I'm going to leave mine like this. For the Z order, I can leave it at 0, since it's since that background is -1. Let's see if I put this at -1. See how it's still above it, but if I put it at -2, it's gone. But I can leave it at 0. So that's that. I don't want the typeface to be bold on mine. I'm going to put it to italic. Alright, and then now I'm going to put one more. I'm going to put one more, but I'm going to just duplicate this one. So I'm going to select my gold, right click, duplicate. It'll pop up in the top left or wherever you have it anchored. Let's see. You can tell where it's at if you click a widget item and then check the position Y while it still has the same anchor. You can kind of, it helps line it up. So like mine is at 64 now, 64, 64, so we're good. And I'm going to make this text align right. And then just kind of scoot it into place with the arrow keys. Since this is going to be the keys, I can just set it to say 1, 0. Then you can add, like if you wanted to add a picture that, like you can add an image right here. I'm just going to do this as a demonstration because we don't have any actual pictures. But you could put an image right here and then pick, like let's say this was the icon for, like a gold icon. You can set that there to kind of illustrate to the player what's going on. And do the same thing on the other side. Since this is just kind of a learning game for us, I'm just going to leave it like this. We know what we're doing. Did I move that down? 64. We're good. Alright, I'm going to highlight this other one over here, and I'm going to rename it over here to keys. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this health bar. Instead of progress bar, I just want this to be health bar. And then for the background image, we don't actually need this to be a variable, so we can uncheck that. You would leave this a variable if you had like different menu or background widget thingies you could do. But for us, this works perfectly. So now what we need to do is go over into the graph panel, and we'll get rid of this. And on pre-construct, let's do a custom event called adjust health bar. And on pre-construct, we're going to cast to our player BP. For the object, we will get player character. And then we'll right click and promote that to a variable called as player BP. We can leave it just like that. And then we'll call our adjust health bar event. What the health bar is going to do, instead of binding the progress bar to our player, which will make it update every single tick to check the health bar, we can just do it on an event and then set its progress appropriately. So we'll grab our health bar, get it, and we're going to set percent, and it'll be this one with the little float value. And what we're going to set the percent to, if I can click it, there we go. Let's check our player blueprint, make sure we have a current health and a max health. We do, we're good. Let's go over here. We're going to grab our player blueprint and we're going to get the current health, and then we will get the max health, because progress bars work on a percentage of 0 to 1. That's all they do. So our health being, what is our health? 100. We're going to have to divide that in a way that gets us a point between 0 and 1. The way we can do that is we can take our current health and divide it by our max health, and it'll say how many times can this go into this, and if it's less than one of these, then it'll be a fraction between 0 and 1. So if we divide the current by the max and plug that in, that will give you a percentage. Now let's do just a couple more events. Go custom event, update gold, custom event, update keys, which you could do these on one and just make it update possessions if you wanted to, and adjust the keys and the gold at once. I'm just splitting it apart just because I have issues with that, I guess. So for the gold, let's get the gold, get gold, and the way we can apply this to our text, it's an integer, but we can grab our gold text object and we will set text, and you want this one set text with the parenthetical text right there. So we'll plug that parenthetical. Is that a word? It's a word now, I don't care. Let's move. So you just plug it right in, it auto converts. What you can do is, if you want it to have like 3 digits automatically, like we put over here, because right now if we go and hit play, it's just going to have a 0. But if you go in here, you click this little down arrow, you can have the minimum integral digits. It will always have at least 1 digit. Or now for mine, it'll always have at least 3 digits. So it'll have the 3 zeros just like I put. Now for the update keys, we'll do the same thing. We will get keys, grab out our text icon, set text with that bottom text of text thingy, and plug it in. Now since I only want this to have 1, we'll just leave it at 1. And just like that, we got all our widgets set up. Now we just need to be able to call them from our player. So we'll go into our player blueprint, find our begin play. Do we have a begin play? Did we put a begin play? Let's add a begin play. If you have one, just attach this to it. So I'm going to add a begin play. If you have a begin play and you have other things you want to do while this happens at the same time, S and a left click will get you a sequence, and what this does is it's kind of like a branch almost, except for it'll say, alright, we begin play, hit this sequence, do this, come back, do this, come back, do this, however many times you got it. We're not going to use it, but I just wanted to touch on that in case, because I've seen some people confused about that. But yeah, you can use these to help really clean up. But for now, we're just going to create widget. And the widget we're going to make is our player HUD we just made. Return value we're going to promote to a variable called player HUD. What this does is it'll allow us to have a reference to it anywhere we want to use it inside our character. Instead of having a cast, we have it set up right here. Oop, I double clicked. Add to viewport, and this will put it on screen. Oh, and what we can do right after, actually I think it's set up on begin play. Event pre-construct, what we can do is adjust health bar, and then we'll update gold. Well, we won't have any gold or keys to start with, so we don't have to do that. But what we could do is in our events where we're picking up gold or keys, so event pick up gold, once we have, instead of printing the string, we will get our HUD reference and do update gold. We can just call that little function and it'll update on the actual screen for us. Same thing for the pick up key and use key. So for both of these, we're adding or subtracting to it. So we will get our player HUD reference, update keys, and we'll just plug both of these in so that no matter which we're doing, whether we're adding a key or subtracting a key, we're updating and getting a appropriate visual. Now on the damage, on event any damage, when we're setting our health and we're determining whether our character has just died, when they die we reopen the level, but if they don't die, what we can do is grab our player HUD reference and adjust health bar. That way our character can kind of see what's or our player can see what's happening. So let's jump in. It should be on screen. Got a bunch of crap in the way. There, my health bar has been hit. I'm damaged. I'm wounding. My life is flashing before my eyes, but I'm gonna get some gold and a key, and I'm gonna that door must not have been locked. Oh, okay. Let's just jump out real quick. Oh yeah, it's not locked. All right. I'm gonna delete this guy right here. So now that we know that the health bar is working, I need to make sure that the keys and stuff is working. I wish that text wasn't right in the way. So picked up a key, picked up gold. It's all working appropriately, and the key has been used. Awesome. So now our HUD widget is working. Okay. Let's finish up our ability to kill the AI. But let me just do something real quick. I'm just gonna select all these and make them movable. That should hopefully get rid of, yeah. So the reason was because I had them set to static lighting and it was waiting to actually build the lighting, where I made them movable. Not recommended because movable lights are very performance demanding. In this small of a level it doesn't really matter, but in a bigger level you would start to notice some issues. But that will get rid of the issue on our screen in the meantime. So let's take a look real quick. Just to double check. So gold, gold, gold. Picking up random amounts. I like that. Got a key. Yeah. Alright. Now, smack me. Make sure my health bar is working every time. Yeah, that's working pretty good. I'm going to make y'all do less damage. So let's right click our knight, browse to the asset, double click and open him up. So where are we applying damage with him? Probably in his attack trace. Base damage is 50. What we can do, we'll just create a little variable. So I'll promote that to a variable. Damage. And I'm going to set that to be like 10 instead. Anyway, 10 hits, you're done. Alright, but now we need to make it to where our enemy will actually die once they are hit. So do we have any damage? Not yet. Not yet. Alright, so we're going to right click, do an event any damage, kind of like we did for our player. We'll have to add a new variable, so we'll add one for our enemy's health. We only need one health float for the enemy, because the reason we have two for the player is because we have to measure its current health and the max health. With the enemy, we can just register its health, and then once it's 0, we just kill him. So I'm going to set its health to be, what is my damage? 5. So he's got, I don't know, 10, 15 health, somewhere in there. You want it to be kind of You want the fights to be quick, but you want it to be tense. So that's where your own calculations will come in to determine how many hits do you want them to be able to do, how much damage, etc. All that. We're just going over functionality here. The design is up to you though. So for the health, once they take damage, we're going to get this health variable, and we're going to subtract from it how much damage was just taken. Then we are going to set the health to be the new amount. So we'll set health after that. After that, plug it in just like that. And now we're going to do a comparison. So we're going to grab off here and do a less than or equal. We'll leave it at 0. Do a branch. And if it is less than or equal to 0, then for right now we're just going to destroy actor. We will be updating the animation for him in the next thing, but I forgot to download that, and so gonna have to go get that. Let's do this. Oh, he got me. Now, there's one issue. Which actually won't be an issue. Later, let's just do this. Instead of destroying him, let's go check his animations. And we'll just make him for now put his sword away. Yeah, we'll just create an anim montage based on the withdrawing sword. So we'll be the death temp anim. This will be just a temporary thing. Double click and open it up. And for the rate scale, I'm going to make it play in reverse. So basically he's putting the sword away. So about here, I'm going to add a little notify. So on the notifies panel, I'm going to right click, add notify, montage notify. That's the only one we need, but if you need another one for some reason, you can add a name right here. So at 0, we'll play montage. It's the one with the white panel right here. And then under the mesh for the skeletal mesh component, and then death temp. Oh, one thing we will need to do is auto blend out. We don't want it to auto blend out because then it'll go back to his regular animations. So we just want him to stay stuck pretty much right here, basically frozen. Like he's shocked he's been beaten and he's just like, oh, I can't believe it. I'm never going to get that promotion. So the play rate here, we don't have to adjust. If you wanted to, you could, and then leave the other one at 1 in there, but don't need to. So on the notify begin, let's grab our sword reference and our shield reference. You can right click a reference and convert it to a validated get. And what this does is it makes sure it's an actual thing before it tries to do anything to it. So if you ever get an instance where it says tried to access none, it means you tried to do something on a reference that doesn't exist for the game's brain. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure, is it valid? If it is, then we destroy it. But if it's not, we don't want any errors thrown by trying to destroy something that doesn't exist. So we'll do the same thing to the shield. And then we'll put this to the is not valid and the end of this. And then we'll destroy right here. So the reason we're doing that is because if the sword is not valid for some reason, but the shield is, we want it to do a check on the shield also. So we just bypass the destroy and go straight to the next check. So it's like, alright, this one's not here. Is the next one there? Oh, okay, it is. Let's destroy it. But if it's not, we don't need to do anything because then it's, not there. So we'll compile that real quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, right up here at the very beginning, we're going to set that dead is true. And now we will need to make sure that we add in all our effects here. So at the very end, once we're doing our uncompleted chase player, we want to make sure that the player is, or that the enemy is not dead. So we'll add a branch, and if it's dead, we do nothing. Get it here. But if it's false, meaning the enemy is still alive, then we continue to chase player. Same thing with our roaming. We already did that apparently, so we're good. Alright. Let's jump in. Fight me. You. And he's stuck. He is still rotating, but that's because the way we set up the other thing. So we'll fix that. Ooh. Alright, he did too. He is not rotating, so that's good. But he's also not following us. Muy bien. Alright, so let's jump back into the night blueprint, and let's go into his facing player. So right now it's getting the anim instance and saying, is any montage playing, which is also registering our death montage. So is any montage playing? We want to do an and boolean so we can compare both things. So is a montage playing and this other thing is not true. So we're going to get our dead variable and we're going to do a not boolean, but not equal, not boolean right here. Basically says, is this not active? We'll plug that in right here and then plug this in right here. So if this comes back true, then this will register as false and it'll stop facing the player. So instead of going all the way back to the beginning, I'm going to right click right here and just hit play from here. Why is he not playing any animation at all? Oh, I remember. Let's go to our death temp animation, and it starts at frame 45 or 1.5 seconds. In the night blueprint, in order to get a animation to play backwards, we need to actually set this starting position 1.5. Or starting position. It might work on a float. Let's just set it at 1 for now and see. Let's do play from here. Hey, buddy. Hi. Well, you just looked right at me and said nothing. Alright. I don't see nothing. Yeah, there he goes. He just puts his sword away, shocked to pieces. Can't believe it. Just came into your house, kicked your butt. So essentially you would just replace that with an actual death animation from Mixamo, but then it should work just right. Alright, so now we can stun lock our enemies. So what we need now is just a way to finalize and get out of, well, let me just do something real quick. I'm going to turn off the attack trace lines. So in the player blueprint under our attack trace check, for the draw debug type, I'm just going to set it to none. I'm going to do the same thing with my interact trace, none. And for the night blueprint, I'm going to turn his attack trace lines off also. Alright, so that seems to be working okay. Let's make sure that yeah, working pretty decent. Fight me. Hey, buddy. Alright. Cool. Good deal. What you wanted, or what you could do if you wanted to, is right after the enemy is killed and it plays its montage on completed, if you wanted to, you could get the player character and what is our pickup gold. So we'll just do a, let's call the pickup gold message, and then basically your score is going up after you fight them. So let's check it, make sure it works. Where am I? I went the wrong way. So now when I fight them, oh hello. Gold didn't go up. Maybe it's because it never technically registers completion because we stopped the blend out. So let's try maybe here. Oh. Because the pickup gold function automatically has the adjustment numbers put in. There it goes. Yeah, it's just not blending out, so it doesn't register as completed. Hey, buddy. There we go. So now you can kind of make it to where your characters give score. If you don't like having it do that, what you can do is go into the pickup gold and add an input right here. Well, let's just do that. I'll show you. So you can have different things give different amounts of gold. We'll just say gold gained right here and make it an integer. So now in the player blueprint, when we actually pick up gold, so instead of it just being a random amount, we'll delete that and then plug in the gold gained right here. So now in the night blueprint, we can say each night kill will be worth 20 gold. One thing we will have to do though is doing that, we'll have to go find our gold bag and actually set an amount for it to have. But what we can do is we can just add in that random amount right here. So we'll get random integer in range. And we'll just do between 5 and 20 here, and then it's doing the same thing. So now, die secretly, haha, alright. Now each one of them is worth 20. Okay. Well, what we'll do right there is play montage, and we'll stop movement, stop active movement. That should do it. Target is nav movement component, stop active movement. That should stop him from walking around. Yeah, he stops now. You didn't even get a chance to draw your sword, buddy. Look me in the eye. You didn't see this day going like this, did you? Alright. Now we just need to actually be able to finish out the game. And then the gameplay mechanic side is pretty much done. Oh. Well, there is one more quality of life thing that we could do. So, since it's a first-person game, let's add an image into the middle to be like a little crosshair dot. That way you can kind of see where you're pointing at. So I'm going to add an image. I'm going to anchor it to the center with the anchor right here, square in the middle. And then I'm going to set its alignment to be 0.5 on the X and 0.5 on the Y. So when it's at 0, 0, if I zero the X and Y out, it still sits off to the side because the 0, 0 is right here, and this is 1, 1. So if I adjust this to 1, 1, it's on the bottom right instead of the top left. But if I set this at 0.5 to 0.5, it lines up right in the middle, and it's a way to get it right in the center of the screen. Now for the size X and Y, I'm going to set this to like 10 by 10. Because it doesn't have to be big, it just has to be enough to register, okay, that's where I'm looking. But I don't want it to be a square, so for the draw as, it's going to be a rounded box. And then we get a little dot crosshair. It might be too big. Might be a little big. Let's try, maybe a 5 by 5. Yeah, and then you can kind of, like, it'll help the player really determine where they're looking. So I know I'm looking here. Boom, boom, boom. It'll help you line up your attacks a little bit easier because you know it's going to be hit me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good to go. Hey, buddy. He's dancing for us. We don't want that to happen because every time he's doing that, we're getting a score. So what we'll do is here at the if it's less than or equal to 0, we'll just back this up, and we're gonna right off here add a do once node that'll only let the animation and all this fire off the one time. Interrupted. Hi. Don't ignore me. It didn't play his animation. Interesting. Alright, well, let's save real quick. We'll check that out in a bit. So we need one more thing to officially finish out the gameplay side of things. As far as I'm remembering right now. If I forget anything, please let me know in the comments. But for right now, I think the only thing we really need is the final treasure item and the exit door. So we'll do a placeholder item for now, and then we'll model it in the next video. Oh, wait, you know what else we could add? Since you're able to lose health, let's add in one more pickup that's able to restore your health. That'll be good. But we'll do that after the treasure. So we got our interaction menu. I'm going to just create a folder inside the folder that is going to be main treasure. Why not? So right click, create a blueprint class of an actor, and this will be treasure goblet underscore BP. This will be the main treasure of the dungeon, the thing you're breaking in to get and get out. So we're going to add a static mesh component. For now is just going to be a cone. A cone will work. Just going to set it up here. Oh, it's moving so quick. Alright. Pretty big cone, but that'll work fine. That'll work fine for now. And we're gonna make it gold. Yeah, that looks treasure-ish. Compile that real quick. Under the class settings, we're gonna add in the interface for our interact BPI. And then we need our door, so I'm gonna right click, create a blueprint actor. This will be exit door underscore BP. We'll add a static mesh that will be our door, and for it we'll just use that door we made, so the doors all look the same. Doesn't really matter where it's lined up, it's not going to actually move. And on the inherited interfaces, we'll add in our interact BPI. Compile that. Now under our interact BPI, we're going to add in one more function called unlock exit. So that in our treasure goblet, once event interact is called, we will get, we're going to add a variable for our exit door ref. No, let's not do it that way. There's only going to be one exit door in the thing, so we'll just get actor of class. This will search the entire world just to make sure we're getting the right exit door. So we'll get that blueprint and then we'll call our what was it? Unlock exit. So we'll unlock exit right on it. So we will add an event interact onto our door. We'll add a Boolean variable to this one to be locked, which we will default to true. Because when we first break in, the player is not going to be able to leave until they fight their way through the dungeon and get the gold. So on the event interact, we'll check to see if this is still locked. And if it is, we're going to just print a string that says find the treasure. And we'll copy that and paste it to the false. So if it's not locked, then we will say, come on. Congratulations. And then we'll add an event unlock exit that will just set our locked to false. So I'm going to drag these into place for testing purposes. I'm going to put it right by the exit, pretty much there. Oh, and then when we actually interact with it and unlock it, then we'll just destroy the treasure, so that we visually are like, okay, I picked it up. Now for the exit door, I'm going to drop it into place right about where we would be trying to make our escape. That looks fine. Okay. So if I try to interact with you, I cannot because I did not affect your mesh. Alright, so we need to go in and actually go to the mesh and set its collision type to custom because we need it to be an interactable item. Same thing with our treasure goblet. So we'll go to the mesh, go to the collision, make it custom on the preset, and then set the object type to interact. There we go. My mouse is getting wonky. It doesn't aim where I aim it. Find the treasure, find the treasure. Alright. Well, hey. Easy adventure. Congratulations. Alright, so after we call congratulations, we can add a short delay so they get their full appreciation of the congratulatory message. And then we call quit game. So I pick that up. Congratulations. And then it exits automatically. So now we can fight our AI, we can collect the main treasure and make our way to the exit. What I'm going to do, one more thing I'm going to do, is in the viewport right here, on the door, let's just add another static mesh real quick. Actually, we'll just add a cube. Now we can do a plane. Plane will work. Let's just rotate this to be 90 degrees. It kind of bugged me that you could see the cement wall through it, so we'll just add this in and then we'll just make it a black unlit material. Yeah, it looks oh let's just turn this off for a second and then just move it ever so slightly, so just so that that plane isn't overlapping with the wall. Let's jump in and take a look. It looks good. You would reposition it a little bit, but just to be actually on the ground. Pressing P will get rid of that green. So then just line it up on the wall where you want it. Can make it just a little bit bigger if we wanted. There's our exit door. And that's gameplay functionality. So now we can break in, we can pick up. Oh, right, I did say we would do the health pickup so that we can actually find little drinks or something to refill our health. So under the interactables, let's do one more pickup blueprint class of an actor, and this will be our health pickup underscore BP. Open it up. We're going to need a static mesh. This will be the bottle or whatever we decide to use. We'll make it in Blender in the next video. For now, it's gonna be a, you know what, a cup. Cup will work perfect. But we're gonna use, it's gonna be a red cup. Now while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and check its collision. We'll make it custom, and then object type is interact. And then delete all this. So what we're going to do in order to make this an easy pickup, we'll just do oh, did we add our interact? Let's add our interface. So we'll add our interact BPI under the class settings in inherited interfaces. So on event interact, we'll just get the player character, and then we will apply damage. We're going to add a float value that will be heal amount. And I know it's probably like, why are we applying damage if we're trying to heal? But if we do a negative amount of damage, then it'll apply that and update our character. So we'll do a heal amount. We're going to set it to where it restores, let's say, 25 health, since our character's max is 100. And since we're doing 25, we can either set it to be negative 25 here, or because we are going to update this with an actual function, we will just -1. Is it 1 minus? We'll just multiply it for now. Multiply by -1. And then we'll destroy the actor. So for the player, I'm going to set his health, his current health, to be just like 10 to start with. Just to make sure that these are working, I'm going to set these cups right here on this table. So my health is low. And if I pick you up, my health goes up. Now there is some instances where you wouldn't want to do that, obviously. Like if you have anything happening, like any sound effects being made, like ooh, when your character gets hit, those will still apply on your false side. So like if I had a sound effect that was like he's getting hit, then it's going to apply. Let's just go ahead and set up a function to do it the appropriate way. I just wanted to get the functionality of the other thing done. So we'll add a function called heal player that will take in an input, and this will be heal amount. It will be a float, and then our interact BPI will just add one more function called healing player, and for the input, heal amount, and it will be a float right there. So now, instead of doing this, we'll just get the player character and call our healing player message. Oh, and we'll just plug in not the -1, otherwise it'll take health away, but we'll just do this. Now inside our player blueprint for the heal player, we're going to get the current health. And we'll set the current health, but what we're going to do is we're going to do a clamp. So what a clamp is it prevents it from going over or under certain amounts. So if let's say we have 95 health points and we try to take in 25 more, if we don't have a clamp, it might end up at 120. If we clamp it, no matter how much we're taking in, it will always be maxed to our max health. So we'll take our current health and add the heal amount to it, and then we will plug this into the value. That way it can do its own internal recognition to make sure, alright, we're taking this and we're setting it to a value between 0 and max health. So this will be stripped down to just be 100. Just to illustrate that, let's do a print string at the end. Plug this in here, and then I'm just going to add a bunch of cups. If you're wondering how to do this, it's just an Alt left click and drag, and that should be more than enough. Full screen it. So now I have okay. Calling healing player on the player character. Oh. Let's go into the player blueprint, and under the event graph, we'll add our event healing player and call our heal player function. Just like that. So now, full screen. $35, $60, $85, $100, $100, $100, $100, $100. So that part's working. You notice the health bar did not go up, and that is because in our heal player, we'll get rid of this, and we will call our player HUD, and just do an adjust health bar. Yeah. Alright, so we got our main treasure, we got doors, gold, keys, we got some props, we got enemies we can fight and actually kill. And I see you guys. I'm just gonna kill them real quick. Just to make sure. We might work on their alertness. We got lazy guards. Oh, he got me. Oh, he got me again. Alright. I drank all them potions. Alright. Well, it's all working. So functionality wise, the game is in place. We got some visual things left to do, including some more dungeon elements. Let's say I've fought my way through the entire dungeon, because I can't leave until I do. Congratulations, we did it. Huzzah. So now that's gameplay functionality wrapped up, pretty much. Unless there's something I'm forgetting that y'all can remember, just let me know in the comments. But in the next video, we'll start going over some more prop making in Blender, and we'll fix the animation for the knights, and then we'll be pretty much ready to package, I think. Yeah, we're getting close. Home stretch. Alright, see y'all soon.